The only reason it's 30 seconds is because I figure it'll take you that long to share everywhere that we need to share.
Well, now,
as we've established, you are remarkably impatient.
Yeah, that's fairly true. I also have moments where I can be pretty patient. It depends on what the situation is. One of the things that really just gets me is that when I go to share this, it shows a preview of what we're doing, and the closed caption is already running.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good that technology is.
I mean, it doesn't always get every word, but
yeah, it doesn't know what Palpatine is.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Also, if you're joining us, welcome to the Jedi Enclave pre-show to the main show.
Pre-game in that the alcohol is optional.
Yeah, that's true. I should start making drinks for us down here.
You say that every time.
Well, remind me next time. Remind me next time, and I will, because I've got some like really good bourbon upstairs.
Daniel, you're an adult. You can just drink anytime you want. You don't need me to come over.
That's true. I just don't drink at all. David says, I love the finale. All I can say is fan service at its best. That's funny because there wasn't a ton of fan service in this one.
I didn't think it was that fan service.
We're not going to spoil anything right off the bat because we have like at least one big thing to get through before we start. But let's have a logo.
Okay.
Here it goes. Bam.
Fly through space.
Here we go. Don't hit anything.
My best.
And welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
I am Chris.
We are two nerds trying to make our way through the galaxy or the universe, however you want to say. I'm going to turn down our mics just a little bit.
Because, the galaxy is contained within the universe.
That's true. I wonder what Neil deGrasse Tyson would say about that. Probably exactly what you just said. Because it's factually correct.
In considerably more detail, I guess, because he's an astrophysicist.
Have you ever listened to anything? He's really smart.
Yes.
Nothing really to do with Star Wars, which is what this is what this show is about. We do, we talk about Star Wars and MCU and
Star Wars and Star Wars accessories.
Yeah, pretty much. And today we got a few things coming up.
Yes.
We're gonna do our Book of Boba Fett season finale recap. We're gonna lead most of it in. But before we get there, I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to our partners at Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas,
which is actually just run by the same guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, two different things though. It's actually a lot of fun. Okay. I was making sure two different things are syncing here. Is Cad Bane voiced by the one in the animated show? Yes. Also, which reminds me, we're going to be reading comments as we're doing this. So please feel free to put something in the comments, some kind of insight or I don't know, whatever the fuck you ever want to do. Because I'm not your mom and I'm not going to tell you what to do in the comments, unless you're being an idiot. But then we don't get a lot of those, so that's fine.
That's true.
So yeah, thank you to Star Wars Hub, Star Wars Veritas, Connor specifically.
Yes.
Our buddy over there. Go check them out. In fact, I'm a mod for Star Wars Veritas, right? Mm-hmm. And after our live show last week, there was, because you have to apply to be in that group. It isn't just open, right? Because it's like an anti-clickbait. It's like, do you fucking hate clickbait? And if you say no, then you get kicked out, right? And someone from Jedi Enclave, like right after the show, went and answered the questionnaire. And one of the questions is, why do you want to be in this group? And they're like, because Jedi Enclave said so. I was like, all right. And that was the person a lot of men too, so it was a very streamlined thing. So anyway, go check them out on Facebook, which, by the way, speaking of Facebook, we're on a few different socials. We're on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook Live. We also have an Instagram that we occasionally post to. And so check us out on those things. Right after this, right after meeting, 7 o'clock.
Central time.
Yeah, Central
time.
Hour,
whatever time zone you're in.
56 minutes from now, we are going to be doing our Star Wars Battlefront 2 stream, which we will be talking more about Book of Boba Fett spoilers there as well. So join us then, nerd out a little bit more, and watch us pretty much make 13-year-olds cry for a couple hours.
Hopefully collect some hate mail.
Yeah. Oh, I was getting some hate mail the other night. It was, so we would love if you would join us for that. We would love if you would join us. And then what else do we got? Oh, in a week.
Yes.
In exactly 1 week, we're doing our Star Wars Episode 2 watch along.
A week and an hour.
Yeah. We'll have a flyer out like tomorrow. Just like just a few weeks ago, we did episode 1. We all watched along. It was actually a really fun time. And we're going to do the same thing for Star Wars Episode 2 next Wednesday, starting at 7.
Load up whatever copy of Episode 2 you have and watch along with us, because we're going to be making fun of it the entire time, because it's not a particularly great movie.
Yeah, that is a rough one. And I think if I can make the technology work, we might have a couple of Gremlin Squad folks with us as well, depending on how it works out. So that would be really cool, too. So now... we're gonna, if we have enough time after the Book of Boba Fett's spoiler show, we're gonna do news at the end. But there's one news thing that we have to talk about, because it happened like right before you came over, which is that the Star Wars Kenobi, I think they're calling it.
Yes, we have an official release date for Kenobi.
Yes,
it is May 25th.
Yep. And a poster too.
Yes,
pretty cool looking poster. I showed it to John. It was real fun because John's like, I've seen so many fan made posters that whenever you see one, you just kind of assume it's fan made. This is like the real deal, and this was kind of on the back of rumors the last couple of days, where some guy on Twitter was like, "Oh yeah, Kenobi's coming out in May," and everyone's like, "Excuse me," and then he
immediately deleted the tweet.
Yeah, and then it turned out that they released a comic. They're releasing a comic series in May.
Yes.
And so he was like, "Oh no, I meant that," and everyone's like, "Okay, well, that's weird."
Then why'd you delete the tweet, weirdo?
And so everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna come out on May 4th," which I thought was kind of weird because Moon Knight comes out on May 4th,
March 30th.
So their second episode's on May 4th.
Yes,
one of the episodes is on May 4th, right?
It's somewhere around there.
Yeah, because
it'll be running during May 4th.
Right, but so something wasn't lining up. So I didn't think that May 4th necessarily would have been a good day. But 25th is like the day before or the day after Star Wars Celebration starts, I think. So it kind of makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
And we are going to be doing Obi-Wan or Kenobi after shows. Let me tell you, especially since they haven't switched the day. It's still on Wednesday, so we don't have to do fucking anything to reschedule it. So, yeah, we will be here doing the Kenobi after shows and getting crazy and fucking nerdy. And who the fuck knows what they put in that show?
That's true.
Like maybe a grown Luke Skywalker goes back in fucking time and goes in hell. I don't know. I was joking.
I really hope not.
That's not an official theory. And so before we get to the Book of Boba Fett, there was a little bit of disappointment today. From a couple of not really. I guess Star Wars Theory really went on a thing against Book of Boba Fett today, which is fine because I don't fucking care what he thinks. Like his opinion is meaningless to me, but because it didn't have Mace Windu in it, which spoilers. Not that this should be.
He's dead.
Not that
he's been dead for like 30 years at this point.
Yeah. So
what?
Mace
Windu fans, I sympathize with you. Really, I do.
Like him.
But
Mace
is
Windu's
dead.
Cool. Mace Windu's kind of a neat guy.
He's dead, and you just have to get over
that.
I'm very sorry to be the one who has to tell this to you.
Yeah.
But he's dead.
And we don't. I wouldn't even count this as a Boba Fett spoiler because I don't think he should have been taking it seriously in the first place.
No.
But he didn't show up just like we said he wouldn't, and there's that. So. We are going to. Igor says, "Hello, Enclave. Hello, chat. Hello to you. Hello there. Hold on.
Hello there.
There we go.
I'm glad I have one other one on here.
Boba.
I need to put more. I need more of those on here. Okay. Anyway.
Bantha.
Yeah. Oh, I have an empty button even.
Yeah, that could be like a bantha.
Did I tell you about that's when you donate stars to Jedi Enclave on Facebook, you get the like a bantha GIF and the little blurb.
I think it only happens during Battlefront streams, right? Because we don't want them popping up during this.
No, they happen all the time.
Oh, really?
I didn't even think about that until now, but yeah, they do.
Oh no.
I wouldn't mind having shit interrupted if people are giving stars because. Okay, so we got the Kenobi news out of the way. So here comes the next.
Time to recap.
Yeah, it's. I'm going to give you a quick warning here before Chris takes over. We watched the episode today. It was the Book of Boba Fett season finale.
Yes.
We are about to go from scene 1 to the end, every detail in between. We're going to spoil the fuck out of it. If you have not seen it, please turn around, go watch the episode and come back.
Especially this one.
Yeah.
It's very action heavy. There's a lot that
does
not translate well to us just telling you
waving our gesticulating and like, oh my god, it's it's Luke Skywalker again. So that being said, you're warned about spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So And now it's your fault if you're still here. So fuck off.
All right.
Go.
So, Chapter 7, In the
meant that
Name of
lovingly.
Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So, we open with Boba and Fennec walking through the wreckage of Garsa Fwip's club. Which,
Yeah, because they bombed the shit out of
just
that.
got blown the fuck out. Boba says that, well, I guess we're at war now. And Fennec's like, well, yeah, we're there was a bomb and everything.
This is not the first aggressive thing they've done. Like, this is the worst. But
yeah.
Also, what's up, Jared?
So Mando comes in and says, yeah, okay, I got the people of Freetown. They're going to come on down and help us shoot some pikes. It'll be great.
By the way, did the Freetown thing kind of remind you know that running joke we did with the Star Wars What If, where it was the Justice Star instead of the Death Star?
Yes.
Does this Freetown thing kind of feel like the same thing to you? Where they're like, it's Mos Pelgus, and they're like, actually, it's Freetown.
Now that you mention it just a little bit.
Yeah. Not a bad thing. I love it. I think it's great.
Bo was like, oh, so you got an entire fucking town, huh? How much did that cost? And Mando said, no, it's free.
They're just cool. They're cool like that.
Provided that you shut down the spice trade, it's free.
Yeah.
And Fennec's like, whoa, what? Let's not, close our options.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about this. That Fennec Shan's like, no, we need the space heroine.
She said we need the money from the space heroine.
Right, but I was just kind of surprised that she was like, no, that's okay. We can cut it out.
She's kind of the harder-edged, pragmatic side.
That's true. She's probably on spice. She's like, where am I going to get my fix, Boba?
Maybe.
Are you not thinking about me? Where the fuck do I get my space heroine?
Boba was like, yeah, okay, we're going to shut it down. Drugs are bad, okay?
Yeah.
He also says that we need the Freetown people to get here right the fuck now because we're really fucking outnumbered without them.
Yeah, they could come at any moment, and if they do, we're fucked.
Yeah, so we need to buy some time. So what I propose, me being Boba Fett in this moment, let's go back to the palace and ford up, and we'll be completely safe, and no one will hurt us. And one of the mods is like, that's a fucking stupid idea. Yeah. And Boba's like, excuse me? And the mod's like, well, you're the boss of this city where all the people live, and if you just kind of fuck off, the Pikes can do whatever the fuck they want here, and that's not very good for anybody.
Yeah. And I liked how she because he says the palace, right? And then when she says you can go lock yourself up in your palace, the way she says it is like a way more like, you fucking 1%er, go to your fucking palace.
Yeah. And Bo was like, yes, you make a good point. We're going to stay right here.
Yeah, he's like, that's not okay, good for you. Good for you and your fucking cyborg arm, brain, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Good job.
Meanwhile, back in Mos Eisley, Cad Bane comes back to the Pikes, where the boss is talking to Mayor Shaiz, and Shaiz is like not super excited about the war that's about to break out in his city.
He's just trying to get whatever angle is best for him, right? And if there's no more town to be the mayor of, what the fuck are you gonna do?
So Cad Bane walks in, and he's like, hey, good news. Freetown, how they were fucking with the spice trade. And
they might have come in, maybe.
They might have tried to help Boba. Well, that's not going to be a problem anymore.
Yep.
Because I kind of, shot the marshal.
Yep. And the deputy.
Yes.
A lot.
Way more.
That man is dead.
Yeah. Shaiz is like, okay, but Boba, had these Tusken friends, and they might come to help him. And the Pike boss is like, oh, no, that's not a problem. Like, we killed all of them.
Yeah.
We killed all of them and blamed this speeder gang. It's
and then Boba came up behind him with a full fucking ship and blown all of them to fuck.
It was really funny.
It worked, and it was really cool.
And, extra angle, the speeder gang was also charging us protection money to, ship things through the DNC, so we don't have to pay that anymore.
Yeah.
So, it's like multiple birds with one stone.
Yeah, which, by the way, at this point in the show, I'm like, this guy's Jeff Bezos.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, have you heard about that? Like, Jeff Bezos wants to do away with, like, a historic bridge, so his yacht can fit under it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I do remember.
Somewhere in Europe or something.
Yeah.
He's a fucking pike. I'm just saying, maybe his species isn't a pike, he's a fucking pike, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't be a pike, guys.
Shaiz is like, okay, but like seriously, if we go to war against Boba Fett in the middle of the city, everything's going to get destroyed, and I don't have a city to be mayor of anymore. Cad Bane is like, okay, I have an idea. I know how to deal with this.
I can probably draw him out.
And then cue the title sequence.
Yeah.
Which is, as always, excellent. Next scene is an X-Wing flying into Mos Eisley.
I know, okay.
And everybody just freaks the fuck out in the audience.
I know, because I'm sitting here thinking,
there's always so many X-Wings that show up in these shows.
Right, you know exactly what it is. And it's like
one singular X-Wing.
It's like
they
pulled this
flashes us back to Mando.
Yeah, it's like they pulled this shit on us already. And so I started thinking, look, you know how I feel about Luke Skywalker.
But he can't be here.
It's like please don't bring him into this, because not that it wouldn't be cool, because it would be fucking awesome, but
It
immediately
removes all the
de-escalates.
stakes.
Yeah, because he just kills everything,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. And also, this is so under his radar.
Yeah.
It's like
he has bigger things to think about.
yeah. So that being said, I have something else to add on to this as soon as you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the X-Wing flies in and sets down at Pelimoto's hangar. The droids immediately wake up and are yelling at Peli, and she's like, "Oh shit, it's the fuzz! Hide the drugs!
Yeah.
Quick, get the hookers under the
Yep.
couch."
She would have Jawa hookers, I bet.
Probably, yeah. So they're like running around trying to hide things, and Pelimoto walks out and is like, "Hey, officer, so good to see." I know, like I sent in the updated registration papers just yesterday. I don't know why they haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I'm very, very sorry about that. You know, she's trying to play it cool.
And we're sitting there waiting for like Luke to pop his head out
Yeah.
and be like, "Shut the fuck up."
And then in the X-Wing cockpit, who should pop their head above the edge but Grogu?
Yeah, no one's sitting in the cockpit but Grogu.
Yeah.
Okay, so Luke has this was the thing. After I figured, I was like, okay, they're not bringing Luke into this.
Yes.
That's good. That being said, he sent that kid alone,
With R2-D2.
alone, in an X-wing to Tatooine. Like look, I'm glad he's not in it, but he couldn't have just dropped him off. Was he that fucking busy?
I guess.
He must have been. Yeah, I'm just saying he must really trust R2.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So R2 is like, yeah, I was sent to give this kid to the Mando. You know where he is? And Peli's like, I don't know where the fuck. He's taking a job.
Yeah,
at
he's doing a
Mos
job
Espa or something.
Yeah, he's got shit to do.
So she like, cuddles up with Grogu a little bit. She's like, oh, you got this cool shiny chainmail shirt. That's very neat. She's like, oh, by the way, droids, bring Grogu some worms. He likes some extra Wrigley.
Yeah.
And Grogu just fucking snarfs
there,
down
yeah.
some living worms, and it's very disturbing. Back in the club, Fennec is telling Boba and Mando that, like, okay, so the families in the town have committed to staying neutral. So we're spreading out our guys to, give us eyes everywhere. The Gamorreans are keeping watch on the spaceport. Black Chrysanthemum is out in front of City Hall.
Yeah,
and the mods are watching the Workers' District.
Yeah.
So, like, all our bases are covered. There's no way that anybody could possibly sneak up
Yep.
on us.
We are perfectly safe.
Yes.
No one will surprise us.
We are completely invulnerable, and once the Freetown reinforcements arrive, we're going to have an army, and we'll be able to beat
we've
all the
already
Pikes.
won.
Yes,
They should just go
it's
home.
Fine.
We win.
We've won. So the torture droid comes in and says, hey, Boba, you have a visitor.
Yeah.
And Boba's like, I thought you said we couldn't be snuck up on.
Yeah.
But he, puts on his helmet and walks outside. And who should be there but motherfucking Cad Bane,
Yeah.
who has some history with Boba Fett.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
A ton of history. Yeah.
So Boba's like, okay, I'm not hiring, and also you smell really bad, so can you, like, get out of my city now? Bane is like, okay, actually, I'm here to negotiate on behalf of the Pikes. And Boba's like, well, you're a murderer, and I don't negotiate with people like you. And Bane is like, that's calling the...
Whatever he said, he had some idiom.
Yeah,
it's pretty much like calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
There's of course there's some Star Wars like
Cad
equivalent
Bane's
of
like,
it.
you've killed almost as many people
Yeah.
as me. Let's not be too hypocritical here.
You shot fucking what's his name point blank in the chest without even trying to figure out what happened. You walked straight up to fucking Bib Fortuna. You murdered that man in his chair. Don't fucking talk to me about who I've killed.
So Boba is like, we have.
You remember when you came up behind an entire biker gang and mowed all of them down with Slave One? Don't fucking talk to me
Don't
about
talk
who.
to me about murder, man. So Boba says that we outnumber the Pikes. We have a bigger army. We're gonna beat you. And Bane is like, oh, the army that's being led by Cobb Vanth, the man I shot,
Yeah.
the man who I fucking killed in the middle of the street of his town.
Even with the helmet on, you could see Boba be like,
Son of a bitch.
oh shit.
So Mando and Fennec are like in the doorway of the club covering him. And Bane is like, okay, I see that you have friends. Before you do anything hasty, you should know that I have friends too. And like a billion Pikes step out and all have guns. He's like, okay, so here's what the Pikes say. If you just let Spice run through the city, we're not going to have any trouble. We can call off this whole war. And Boba's like, no, fuck off. Spice is bad. I don't want it here.
No space heroin.
Bane is like, oh, okay. By the way, the Pikes are the ones who killed your Tusken friends. So you can just chew on that a little bit.
Yep. And even with a helmet on.
Boba has fucking Nam flashbacks.
Yeah, he's about to come unglued.
Yeah. He like shifts his grip on his gun, so he's about to shoot Kevin.
Yep.
And Fennec's like, whoa. Hang on a second. because like this is a type of fight that he wants. It's not the fight that we should take. And Boba's like, no, I'm pretty sure I can kill him right the fuck now. Fennec's like, no.
Yeah, I'll just fucking shoot him.
No. Let's just, we'll take a minute. We'll think about this. We'll try and set it up so that we can get more assured of victory. And Boba's like, actually, yes, that does make sense. We're done negotiating, by the way. You can get the fuck out of my city. Bane says, well, aren't you getting old and soft and pathetic? But okay, I'm going to leave now. And he fucks off and the Pikes all leave. So the mods are over in the workers district, and one of them calls in and says, hey, something is really weird here. And then all of a sudden, all the Aqualish around them just pull out guns and start shooting at them.
Out of their fucking fruit baskets and shit. Yeah. They've been playing. Those fuckers were planning this too. Yeah.
So obviously it's a betrayal on a massive scale. Black Chrysanthemum gets jumped by a bunch of Trandoshans, and they're like cutting the shit out of him.
This was particularly awesome because he's just standing out there by himself.
Yes.
Right. And the way that they shoot this is really with each of the little things where like everyone kind of like senses that something kind of weird is happening. And when it gets to Black Chrysanthemum, he's just looking around, seeing a bunch of Trandoshans where he's like, I might kill these motherfuckers anyway. Like, even if they don't do anything shitty.
Also, it was maybe not the best idea to put Black Chrysanthemum in the Trandoshan district.
Right.
Because, like, they just want to kill each other anyway.
Now, Black Chrysanthemum in particular, like, that's a crazy fucking fight, right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many Trandoshans. And I think it's a really neat touch that none of them have blasters. They all have edged weapons.
Yep, because they want his fur.
Yeah. And he is like, bring it on, motherfucker. Let's go.
I'll shoot a motherfucker. I'll punch a motherfucker. I'll rip a motherfucker's arm off.
And he's they end his little segment with like him being overtaken with Trandoshans.
Yeah, and like being buried on the ground.
Yeah, but I was like, he'll be back. He'll be all right. Yeah. However,
the Gamorreans.
Yeah.
Oh, my poor sweet precious boys.
Don't get attached to these guys.
So they're up on the spaceport on like the ledge over the city, and like a bunch of
the Clantunians.
Clantunians, right, are like poking them with sticks and things, and they eventually just back up off the cliff and fall to their deaths.
They really
it's really fucking sad.
I know, and you know what?
I liked those Gamorreans.
I did too, and this is the first scene of many in this episode. We're probably going to talk about it a little bit later, where I started to get real serious Game of Thrones vibes from a lot of the shit was happening. One thing in particular, which I'll mention when we get there, because it's kind of a big to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of neat that there are no universe-ending stakes.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's a Death Star, or oh, it's a bigger Death Star,
this is a pretty local conflict,
right? But I fucking love the Gamorrean guys. They're kind of cool. They saved him.
They have
a
no
few
intelligible
times.
dialogue, and I still love them.
They look like they might be. They look like they might taste good if you were to cook them, but that's not necessarily why. Like they're kind of like
Yeah.
Look at how little clothes they wear. they have no chill about anything. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Juan?
So the mods are like pinned down behind their bikes, and they're like we need help. We can't go anywhere. And meanwhile, back at the club, so they're like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do? The mayor's major domo is like, oh, well, actually, the mayor is over with the Pikes in Mos Eisley at this one place. And Fennec's like, okay, I'm going to go kill him.
Yeah,
Boba's like,
I'm just going to go fuck those guys up.
Boba's like, are you sure you're going to have enough time to get over there? Because, like, this war is starting right now.
Fennec Chan's like, I am the wind.
Fennec's like, I got this.
Yeah.
She jumps outside, jumps on her bike.
Zooms straight the fuck out, yeah.
On her way out of town, she stops by where the mods are pinned down, just fucking kills all of the Aqualish.
Yeah.
And then the mods are like, oh, you saved our lives.
Yeah.
Thank you. And she's like, oh, yeah, don't mention it. By the way, get back to the club. Boba needs you, like, right now.
I am the wind.
And she takes the fuck off. Back at the sanctuary, the club, the Pikes show up, and there's, like, 1,000,000,001 of them. So they're all, like, pointing their guns at the entrance. Cad Bane is nowhere to be seen here, by the way. Boba is, like, inside. Boba's like, well, all our allies betrayed us. This kind of sucks.
Well, just as a reminder, they weren't necessarily allies.
Yeah, they agreed to stay neutral.
Yeah, they agreed to stay neutral. It was still a big fucking betrayal, right? Yes. This is a pretty big Western beat for this kind of story.
Yes.
Where, like, the good guys, everything just starts going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just the way that they set it up is really neat.
So Mando's like, yeah, well, like, it was probably the smart move because the Pikes outnumber them. But I'm not going anywhere because betraying your friends is against the creed.
Mm-hmm.
And Boba's like, you actually believe in that bullshit?
Yeah.
Mando's like, well, okay, we got
Well,
two.
hold on a second, because you said, "Do you actually believe in that bullshit?" And Mando's like, "I fucking do."
Yeah.
And then Boba's response, I thought was really cool. Was like, "Good for you."
Yeah.
Does Boba still like this?
No,
I don't know if he
absolutely
does or
not.
not, but I'm sure that he was like, you know what? This benefits me, so that's
Yeah.
fine. Good for you.
Mando's like, okay, we got two options here. We can either sit here while they get set up out there and then, try and fight them off.
Yeah, like a siege kind of a thing, yeah.
Or we can try and just blast our way out, get on your ship, and fly the fuck out of here. And Boba's like, well, first of all, this is my city and my people, so I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Mando's like, okay, so I guess we're both going to die in the name of honor.
Mhm.
And Boba's like, well, I have to, because, it's my city after all, but, you can go if you really want to. And Mando's like, this is the way.
Yeah.
And, okay.
Boba's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Just before everyone starts shooting, Major Domo's
He's like,
hold on.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. You fucking say it. I'm not going to say it.
Just before everyone starts shooting, Major Domo's like, okay, hang on. You might not know this about me, but, I went to school.
On Coruscant.
Yes. And, I majored in negotiation. So
Small town space heroin negotiations.
So if you empower me to negotiate on your behalf, I can crack us a deal so that we can get off world and no one has to die.
Yeah.
Like
there'll be a lot of posturing, and you'll have to pay a little bit of money.
Pay a little money,
yeah.
you do some symbolic groveling, you'll be fine. And Bo's like, okay, give me your pad. I'm gonna write out what I want you to say.
Which, by the way, anyone watching this at this point, we're all laughing because he all of a sudden Boba animates, he gets really excited, and he's we're writing.
He has an idea.
Yeah.
And the Major Domo's like, yes, great, I love it. I love being the center of attention.
Doesn't happen to read the
Nope,
thing.
he just trots on out and says, hello, I'm unarmed. Hello, Pikes. I would like to negotiate on the behalf of Boba Fett. And the Pike is like, just read it, tailhead. And it's like, oh, that's a little casual racism.
I thought it was really funny. He gave the Star Wars equivalent of, I haven't heard that fucking joke before.
Yeah. So Major Domo reads it. The first half is just like, yes, I am Boba Fett. I'm the daimyo of this city. Blah blah blah. Then he hits the button to advance the page.
And he reads what's on there.
And gets visibly very nervous.
Yeah.
And the Pike is like, fucking read it. And he's like, my offer is nothing. And also, if you don't get the fuck off my planet, I will water the sands with your blood and new plants will grow.
Also, you smell like wolf pussy.
And Major Domo's like, those were his words, not mine.
Not my words.
Please don't shoot the messenger.
I wouldn't know what that smells like in the first place.
And before anyone else can react, Boba and Mando come fucking flying out from the back of the building, shooting everyone.
Jetpacks ablaze. Fucking, it is a really good entrance.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good way for them. If they're gonna start off this battle like this, they're at least taking their one advantage in the situation, which is they can fly and kind of surprise everybody. It works pretty well.
There's this really cool sequence where they're sitting down in front of the club and they're both shooting and shooting their knee missiles and all this shit, and it gives me real Butch Cassidy and the Sundance.
Oh,
vibes.
this whole thing is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, yeah.
But they're getting shot, right? And they're taking shots on the Beskar, and it's not killing them, but it's.
I mean, they're overwhelmed, because they're using all their Mando uses the whistling birds. I think Boba uses all of his knee rockets, which is kind of a fun thing to say.
He has the wrist missile that he fires off.
Right.
They're going all out here. But eventually the Pikes have them both on the ground. They've shot the Beskar a whole bunch. And just when all hope seems lost, you hear a big blaster sound. And then the fucking Freetown people cruise up in this big old battle wagon of a speeder and jump out and start shooting.
The thing's probably 80 years old, and the bartender's on the gun turret and shit.
So
Freetown!
Rampage, woo!
Yeah.
So they park in front of Sanctuary, and they're using the speeder as cover. Mando's talking to the bartender I'm really sorry that Cobb Vanth got shot. And the bartender's like, yeah, that kind of sucked.
Well, this was, especially if you're watching it for the first time, it's pretty alarming because what he says was he shot him down in cold blood.
Yeah. Which,
when you say that thing referring to someone, usually that someone is dead.
Yes.
Right? So I was like, oh. Because, at the end of that episode...
It looked like he was going to be okay.
Yeah, he gets hit in the shoulder. The deputy, not so. He got fucking killed. But, Cobb Vanth was, shot in the shoulder, and they're like, oh, get a fucking medic and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, man. I like that guy.
The bartender tells him that, this planet deserves better than just being heroin junkies.
Yeah.
The mods show up now, and they start shooting everybody, and everyone's up.
And Boba's like, my plan's coming together.
Yes, I have my entire
Everyone's-
army.
Yes.
It's great. The mods and the Freetown people are bickering about city slickers.
Oh,
fucking
that is actually pretty funny.
hayseeds.
Yeah. That's also kind of an old Western kind of a thing,
Yeah.
you know.
But before anyone can draw any blood, you hear a big roar, and then fucking Black Chrysanthemum is like dragging 5 pikes,
Yeah.
hitting a motherfucker with a
Yeah.
motherfucker.
He is really like,
He's covered in cuts.
Yeah.
He's limping, like his ankle is
something's
twisted.
wrong with him. Yeah. It's that, like,
He's still there.
the way they frame it too is it's like it shows like the street, and then he just like enters from stage left,
Yeah.
throwing a fucking Trandoshan.
It's so good.
He's like, motherfucking Trandoshans.
Yeah.
He really is killing the fuck out of
Yeah.
them though.
Like I'm exaggerating very slightly. I'm gonna say hitting a motherfucker with a motherfucker.
Oh yeah, he literally hits one with, and then he like the one he hits and it, or like he kicks him and it like goes into the air and he just shoots him while he's in the air. The dude's a badass.
Black Chrysanthemum is so
Yeah.
cool. So like Boba and Mando have to like get him, like help him behind the speeder because he's limping so bad. But okay.
Yeah, it tells him. Boba tells him, "You can fucking have a bath in my bacta tank."
Yeah.
And Black Chrysanthemum's like, "Thank God,
Oh,
because
God.
I got some fight in me."
I got fucked up.
Yeah.
So the Pikes start to retreat, but before anyone can celebrate too hard, Mando turns on his like thermal visor.
Yeah, because they're all cheering. They're like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
And this is also another kind of Western beat where you fight off the first wave. Everyone's real proud of themselves, and they're like, "That wasn't that fucking bad."
And then just over the horizon, this giant fucking droid with like 4. It looks like one of those droidecas from the prequels, except much bigger and 4 legs.
Yeah. So you can't really tell what it is at first because the first view you get of it is like a thermal scan. And it's like, I was like, what? I have never seen that before. It turns around the corner, like they both turn around the corner. Actually, the way they shoot this is kind of cool because it's a view of the street, right? And the one that Mando sees is like way in the distance, and it kind of like it's about to turn on the street. But before it does, like the one that's way closer, just kind of like is like, hey, fuck you guys. And it does. They both have shield generators, so they're just like destroyer droids, and they're some of their parts look like destroyer droid parts too.
Very
Like
much so,
their feet are kind of pointy, and they have that like there's some shielding casings that are kind of on the. It is very. This must be like some kind of like.
Just much bigger.
Yeah, they're like, what if we did destroyer droids, but
Bigger.
the size of a house?
Yeah. So that they
Sketchy guy in Nevada says siege droid.
siege droid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone starts shooting at him, and nothing is working.
Yeah,
Like
they have fucking shields.
Boba fires the rocket from his jetpack, and that still doesn't do anything.
Yeah, another little movie trope there where like big explosion, fucking
Just walks right
Yeah.
through it. And Boba's like, okay, you all run away. Mando, we have Beskar, so we're going to distract these guys.
Yeah. What happens after that? Well, you don't fucking know.
So the army is running away. Chrysanthemum's like limping away with some help. Boba and Mando are shooting up this destroyer, like dodging around trying to avoid it. Mando tries to use the Darksaber on its shield, and that even doesn't work.
Yeah. He just kind of bounces off of it.
Yeah. Mando's like, okay, this is not working. Like, we need a new plan. Boba's like, can you distract them for a little while? And Mando's like, well, I can probably distract one of them. Yes. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go get reinforcements.
Yeah, Bubba's like, I have to go somewhere.
Yeah. Mando's like, where are you getting reinforced? They all just ran away.
Yeah.
Bubba's like, don't worry about it. Just keep my people safe.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And he flies away.
He's like, this will pay off in a way you will be very pleased about. Give me one moment.
Mando's like, ugh. But fine. He distracts one of them. The other one goes after their army. Chrysanthemum shoots up hides behind a pillar while the droid is walking past and shoots up the shield a bunch, and it turns kind of red and it's kind of failing.
Yeah.
And he almost punches through with his fucking electric knuckles.
Yeah.
Before the droid turns and
Kicks
him
in,
down.
yeah, which is cool. The way they designed this makes a lot of sense because when I first saw them, I was like, why don't they just projectiles can't get through? Why don't you just fucking walk through the shield when you're behind them or whatever? But they're really careful to show that first of all, you can't just walk through the shield, but even if you get close to it, they actually their guns aren't the only thing that can defend them.
Yeah.
Now, also, it's worth saying that the whole reason that Boba said he'll be right back is because they made a reference about how their blasters are too high velocity
Yes.
to cut through the shields, and that their like whatever other weapons aren't working for some reason
blasters
too.
aren't working. Our projectiles are too high velocity. I think.
Which is a direct, I think, a direct reference to Dune. Where they all have, they all have. Well, it exactly is because they all have the personal shields, where its entire job is to stop high velocity things.
Yeah.
But you can, like, if you're moving slow enough, you can kind of get through it and everything. And so that's kind of like, I don't know. It was a cool Dune callback, but also it's what sparks this idea with Boba. It's like, oh wait, hold on, I think I might have something for this.
Yeah. So Mando is like distracting this droid, shooting at it and running away. He runs into Pelimoto, who's just on her fucking droid chariot.
Yeah.
Not a care in the world.
Has no idea what's happening.
Mando, hey! Mando's like, you need to turn around and go right now.
Yeah, she comes around the corner. He's just like,
oh my god!
do you not hear everything that's happening right now?
Pelly's like, what? He's like, get out of here! And she's like, I can't hear you. Oh god, it's a droid. Turn around, get us out of here.
What's really funny is that, like, she's screaming the entire time when it peels off. Dude, Amy Sedaris is fucking hilarious.
She's a great, like, she's very clearly chewing on the scenery here. Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, she is. She's obviously a comic relief character, and it's like they told her that obviously when she got the gig. Yeah, and she's like, "Oh,
I'm fucking hamming this up."
It's 110%.
So Mando like shoots the droid a few more times, then runs and jumps on the back, and he's like, "Can't this thing go any faster?" And she's like, "Make it go faster."
He throws a wrench. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, by the way, I got something for you." Opens up the fucking sheet next to her, and it's Grogu.
Yeah.
It's like,
at which point Mando's like shitting bricks now.
Yeah.
He's like, you brought my kid into a fucking war zone, you stupid woman. What is wrong with you?
But very cute moment. Grogu like jumps up and hugs him.
Like force jumps. Yeah.
Oh man, it was.
It's like the one thing he learned from Luke, little force jump. Yeah.
And they have a little hug. And Mando's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm. It's great to see you too."
Really though, it is very dangerous here.
Yes. You have to keep your head down because this is going to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
So the mods and the Freetowners are running away from their droid, and they get to like this courtyard, and they're like, okay, there's this wall for cover, and there's like a step behind it that we can stand up to shoot it.
Yeah.
This is as good a place as any. And if we keep running, it's just going to be a dead end. There's going to be no cover, so we have to stop here. This is where we make our stand.
Yeah, they have a little argument about it.
Yeah,
and the one woman's like, "Fuck you! I know this place better than you do. Shut up."
And one of the mods is like, okay, I'm going to go up on the rooftop and like snipe down on him. And one of the Freetowners is like, well, let me see your gun. She holds this little dinky
like a little piece. It's like that fucking.
It's like with that fucking.
It's like it's like the little gun in Men in Black that Will Smith
Noisy
has.
Cricket,
yeah.
Yep. And finally she's like, okay, bartender, give me your big old cycle rifle. And they swap, and the bartender has this little tiny dinky gun. he looks a little bit put out about it.
Also, okay, this entire time though, this particular character, the bartender, kind of looks like he's having the time of his life. Like, they have been living out in the middle of the desert with nothing to do, especially after they've killed this crate dragon. Yeah. And like they roll into town, and he's like, thank God there's something to do.
Yeah. So back to Pelimoto and Mando, they're running away from their droid. The droid that's pulling their chariot like overheats and fails, and like the chariot flips over.
There's a really neat action shot where
of Mando kicking on his jetpack to catch Grogu in the air.
Yeah, they all kind of like fly through the air in slow motion and shit. It's a pretty cool shot.
Pelimoto lands and then like spits out a tooth.
It's so obnoxious because like she's chewing scenery like crazy. So it's this big like exaggerated like and she's got this big fucking gap in her teeth.
Yeah,
it's still hilarious. I love Pelimoto, dude. And we're gonna get up to this soon, but she to me seems so kinky about everything. Like, Pelimoto fucks probably a lot.
She fucked a Jawa.
Yeah,
we know that. So Mando and Pelimoto have their guns out and they're shooting at this droid, and let's see. So they're like stuck. The droid's right there, and things are pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then you hear a loud roar over the rooftops.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of stops and looks, and like you eventually see this big hand grab the edge of a rooftop, and it's motherfucking Boba Fett riding a Rancor.
Now, This is where I was like, oh my god, this is an episode of Game of Thrones. Because
it's Daenerys on her dragon.
It is. And it was this particular part really kind of I'm not sure they did this on purpose, but because I was really into Game of Thrones when it was good.
Yeah.
It was a whole bunch like the episode with like the last big battle in it of this entire series, where it's Daenerys and a dragon climbing over buildings and like an uncontrollable fucking beast that is just like a force of nature that cannot be stopped by anything.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of the same thing.
So fucking Rancor hops down and just starts beating the shit out of the droid.
Like, it's really spry.
Yeah.
Like, it can, like, it's not like big, but he kind of like has some moves and shit. Yeah.
Like the droid is like shooting back and trying to kick and stuff, but the Rancor's like beating the shit out of it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna smash it. I'm gonna smash shit out of it.
And the droid, like the front shield starts weakening, so it starts redirecting energy from the rear
back,
shields to keep the front shields up. And Mando's like, okay, Grogu,
I have an idea.
Pelly, hold Grogu for a second. He runs in there, turns on the Darksaber, like cuts his way in, hops up on the droid, like cuts off one of its blasters, stabs it in the head. Like, this takes down the shield generator, even though he gets shaken off. And like he gets knocked down on the ground, and the droid turns around and is like, well, that wasn't very fucking nice of you. Stomps over, like stomps on his leg, and it would have pierced through if his leg armor wasn't Beskar. Yeah. And things are looking really fucking bad. And then Grogu just fucking raises his little
waddles
paw,
out. Yep.
Raises his paw, uses the Force, and like rips out a bolt or something.
Yeah, like a little
from
part. Yeah.
Back leg, and the droid just collapses.
Yeah.
And then the Rancor's like, "Oh, well, you can't walk anymore. I'm gonna kill you now.
I'm gonna finish smashing the shit out of you."
Rips it apart.
Oh, but on command.
Yes.
He holds it, and then Boba says, "Do it."
Do it.
And then he just rips it apart. Yeah, it's real fucking cool.
And the Rancor goes up over the housetops again.
Yeah.
Back at the courtyard, Boba's army is still pinned down.
It's also worth saying that the setup for this Rancor, everyone involved in this battle except for Boba is terrified of this Rancor. They're like,
"What the? I didn't. Did
who
you
is
know
the
he had that?
Who is the bad guy now? Because like we're probably gonna die either way."
I was very sad we didn't get Danny Trejo cameo in this episode.
I know, me too.
Anyway.
He would have been so proud of that Rancor, man.
Yeah.
He probably is. He didn't die or anything, so.
So the snipers went around, got in position, and they start shooting down, and the army that was pinned down is shooting, and the pikes are getting cut down, and it's looking a little bit better for them. But the droid's still there. Fucking Rancor arrives and fucking bashes the droid into a building.
Mm-hmm. He is very Hulk-like, by the way.
Yes.
Like, he's just kind of a berserker, just tumbles through and just starts smashing everything. Yeah.
So the droid comes out, like its shields are down, but it's still in good shape. So it starts shooting and clawing at the Rancor, and the Rancor's like, well, that fucking sucks.
That stings.
I'm gonna rip off your arm. I'm gonna rip off like 2 of your legs, and I'm just gonna rip you in half. And that's how the Rancor destroyed both droids. Yeah.
The one he like rips off one of the gun arms and shoves it through the main body. Well, no, he has his claw on that control eye thing, and like it's like that moment where like a guy grabs a hold of your face and like digs the thumbs in and shit, and then he just stabs it with its own hand, which I thought was pretty neat too.
Mando and Pelimoto show up, and they're like, "Hey, keep chasing the pikes, make them get out of town.
Yeah.
Don't give them time to regroup." And like there's a shot where like the major domo is hiding behind this bench, and one of the pikes shoots it, and you can see him through it. And Pelly turns and is about to shoot. He's like, "No, don't shoot!" She's like, and she flirts with him. And
she does. She's like, "Fucking put your head tails in my vagina," or whatever the fuck we're supposed to do. And it is really funny because like she is attracted to the weirdest fucking things. Because as soon as I knew it, dude. I knew it. She turned and looked at him. She's like, "Oh, they're gonna fuck." Like I just know it. This is just the weird fucking kind of thing Pelimoto's into.
So the Rancor,
which I'm not sex shaming anybody. Fucking consensual adults, go for it. I just want Pelimoto to be happy.
So the Rancor keeps smashing pikes and like eating one of them, and
it's just like fucking Return of the Jedi. He eats it in the same way.
Yep.
There's a Wilhelm scream.
There is
the one like picks him up. Yeah.
But until Cad Bane just strolls out of an alleyway.
Which, by the way, a city full of people terrified of a fucking Rancor. Cad Bane is not one of them.
He's not impressed.
Not at all worried.
He just kind of walks up and like shoots his flamethrower in the Rancor's face. The Rancor's like, fuck this.
Yeah, he must have done this before, by the way. Like
Probably.
I feel like Cad Bane's run into a Rancor before. He's like, you know what works on Rancors?
Fire.
Fucking fireworks.
Yeah. So Boba gets thrown off the Rancor because it rears back.
Yeah.
Cad Bane shoots it with more fire, and the Rancor's finally like, "Fuck this!
Yeah.
This day sucks.
Yeah.
I'm out of here."
This is no longer fun.
Just
Goodbye.
goes climbing over houses again. So Boba gets his gun and stands up, and so they have a little stare down.
Yeah. Fucking the pinnacle of Western tropes.
Yes.
And they do this. They did this a bunch in The Mandalorian. They did this in an earlier in the episode before with him and Cobb Vanth, where they shoot all of the reaction shots from behind the holster of the enemy.
Yep.
Like on their leg and everything. And they show lots of feet. It's like a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie. Like how they shoot feet and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So Boba's like, "All right, we killed your entire army. Get the fuck out of my city."
Yeah.
And Bane is like, "You know, I've been following you for a long time, and I just can't see what your angle is here."
Yeah.
Boba's,
Yeah, because he's really used to, but Boba Fett up until this
he's
the
been a
chapter
bounty
of his
hunter.
life. Yeah, it's like he always does the thing that benefits him the most. Yeah.
Boba's like, "Well, this is my city and my people, and I'm not gonna fucking abandon them." Bane is like, "Oh, you mean like you abandoned the Tuskens? You know, when they all got killed by the Pikes?"
Surprise, the Pikes,
Yeah.
not that biker gang you fucking murdered.
By the way, I'm still faster than you.
Yeah.
Boba's like, "Well, I have armor," and Bane's like, "Well, let's just test that
Yeah.
theory, shall we?" They quick draw, and Bane is indeed faster and fucking shoots him and knocks him down. Boba tries to like get his flamethrower on him, but Bane just kind of dodges it and shoots him again.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, you see, here's the thing about you, Boba. No matter how hard you try to go straight, you're still the clone of your father, which makes you a born killer."
Yeah.
It like rips off Boba's helmet, and he's about to kill him. And like, there's this moment where Boba like closes his eyes, and it's almost like he's accepting what's about to happen.
I don't.
Except,
Yeah.
if you look over his left shoulder, he
Yeah.
has a gaffy stick.
This whole shit was planned. Yeah. And I thought it was really neat. There was a moment after he ripped the helmet off where I could see younger Boba Fett from Clone Wars.
Really?
Yeah. It just, I don't know, maybe it was a thing he did with his face or something.
Yeah.
It just, they had this moment where they looked at each other, and it's like the last time he saw him probably was when he was a kid. So.
And Bane is like, "Last lesson: caring about other people makes you weak." And Boba just kind of slaps his gun away, pulls out the gaffy stick, knocks him down,
Absolutely playing possum, by the
fucking
way.
stabs him through the chest
Yep.
with it. Which this is a really cool rebuttal of Bane's argument, because he learned how to fight with the gaffy stick from the Tuskens.
Yeah.
So with no rider, the Rancor is just like rampaging around town.
Now, it
breaking
doesn't
shit.
care what side is which.
Yep.
Has a fucking snack land speeder. He's just taking bites out of
Yep.
it and shit.
So the army starts shooting at him. Mando's like, "Whoa, hold on. That's a fucking Rancor. You're just making it angry.
Why are you shooting at it?
Just chill. I've got this."
It didn't even know you were here until you started shooting at it.
He turns to Peli. He's like, "You hang on to Grogu. I'm gonna take care of this."
But really, please hang on to him this time, because the last time I asked you to do that, you just fucking walked out into the street.
By the way, Grogu, here's the little metal ball
Yeah.
you like so much.
Oh, everyone was like,
Aw, he remembered.
yeah.
He then, jets up and tries to sit on the Rancor and ride it. But unfortunately, he has not been through Danny Trejo's Rancor riding
No,
school.
he has
and
not.
He immediately gets thrown
Yeah.
off.
I thought that was really funny. He was like, well, Boba fucking rode him. I can probably ride him.
So the Rancor hops down, grabs Mando, is about to stuff him into his mouth, except he can't bite through Beskar.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Rancor's like, "What the fuck?"
The Rancor, he looks so pissed about it, too. He's like, I really wanted to eat you, you motherfucker.
So Mando gets his flamethrower around, like shoots some fire into the Rancor's mouth, and Rancor's like, "Ah, that fucking,
Not this shit again.
that hurts, you asshole!" Like throws him across town, and Mando like lands pretty hard, and he's like knocked senseless. So Rancor hops down, is advancing on him, and then Grogu just kind of waddles out.
Yeah.
And Rancor gets down on all fours, so he's like looking at him as close to in the eyes as possible, and just roars at him for like 10 seconds straight.
Yeah, like the fucking wind and
you can
shit.
see the
Yeah.
sand flowing around
Yeah.
Grogu, and Grogu just kind of raises his little
calm
paw,
as fuck, not even worried about
just
it.
raises his paw, and the Rancor just slowly calms down and gets a little drowsy,
I'm gonna go sleep now.
closes his eyes and falls asleep. And Grogu is just like walks up, is like, man, your teeth are. You must be able to eat anything you want.
Yeah.
I am so jealous right now. Also, I'm really tired.
Yeah, he takes a little. That is really. By the way, I kind of interpreted this as Grogu, just kind of sensing that the Rancor was panicking and wasn't necessarily like trying to be terrible and shit.
Yeah.
And it's this is probably not something that Luke taught him. This is probably an instinctual connection thing that he just kind of took advantage
Could very
of.
well be. So back at Mos Eisley, we see the two Pikes outside the boss's office. Inside, the Pike boss is like, yeah, we're getting the fuck off this planet. You guys are on your own.
Yeah.
And the family bosses are like, what the shit? We had a deal. You can't just cut and run.
You
And
can't
Pike-
leave us with dude, he's going to fuck us senseless.
The boss says, okay, half my men got killed and the other half got eaten by a Rancor.
Yeah. Did you see the Rancor that's running around?
Things are kind of fucked up right now. Just as they're about to continue arguing, 2 more shots ring out outside, and everyone's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, pull out their guns and looking around.
This is some Batman shit, by the way.
And, like, from a window in the ceiling, a bunch
Or
of more
something.
shots ring out.
Yeah.
And, like, kill almost everybody in the room. So it's just the Pike boss.
She grabs the Thorian.
You're spoiling it.
It's fine.
So she gets Muk Shaiz with a cable and like strings him up and like breaks his neck.
Yeah, it's and I'm not sure even how it must have been through the little thing in the center of the building or something. Because you don't see anything.
Yeah. So now it's just the Pike boss, and he's like looking around. And he gets stabbed from behind.
Yeah.
He falls down, and you see this fucking Fennec Shand doing all this.
Just being an assassin.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Which made me think, Boba, you have a world-class assassin, fucking ninja assassin that no one ever sees coming. Why didn't you start with this? Like, while we were having this big battle planning thing and the fucking the bombed out thing, why didn't you just be like, just go kill a motherfucker? They'll never see you coming. You're like the wind, you know.
It's true, they didn't.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. She's real badass.
So back in Mos Espa, ships are landing and taking off, and people are rebuilding the city, and things are getting back to normal. Boba and Fennec are walking through town, and everyone is like bowing and saluting to Boba, and he's bowing back. He's like, oh, my arm really
hurt,
fucking hurts. Oh my god.
Also, constantly, it's like, what is this, Catholic Church? Constantly bowing.
Fennec's like, well, you could be in the back to tank right now. And Boba's like, yeah, I could, but it's kind of occupied at the moment.
Right, which you're thinking, Black Chrysanthemum, right? He's doing Black Chrysanthemum because he told him, I owe you a fucking back to tank thing.
Sure. Boba's like, well, why does everyone have to bow? And Fennec's like, would you rather they be shooting at you? I mean, those are really your only 2 options here. Boba's like, we really weren't cut out for this whole governing thing, were we? And Fennec's like, well, if it wasn't us, it would be someone much worse. Yeah. So, it might as well be us.
At least we're not total, like, complete trash.
Yeah. They walk ahead and meet up with Chrysanthemum and the mods. And, they're just kind of chatting.
They have, like, a fucking Family Matters moment with the fucking fruit. Yeah.
As the Mando theme kicks in, and we go up into orbit over Tatooine and see Mando's fucking hot rod Naboo starfighters zooming off, and in the little bubble pod behind the cockpit, there's
like we knew,
Grogu.
right?
Yes.
Like we saw that coming.
Grogu has his little metal ball in his hand. He's like
tapping on the
against
window.
glass,
Yeah.
And Mando's like, no. He taps again. No. Taps again, even more insistently. No. Finally, Mando's like, fine.
Mando's finger is like hovering over the eject button. He's like, this motherfucking
He's like,
kid.
Okay, but I'm only gonna do this once. And he presses the fucking shit your pants, we're going so fast button, and Grogu's like, whee!
Yeah, that is actually really kind of a cool little, like, I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
they
roll
get to go
credits.
past. Yeah.
That's the episode. However, once you get past all the storyboard scenes, we flash to Boba's room. We zoom in, and we see that in the back to tank.
The flashback room.
Yes. The back to tank is occupied by none other than Cobb Vanth.
Yes.
And in the background, we see the modifier, the Ripper Doc dude who installed Fennec's RoboAbs in the background. And you hear something that sounds like his music, I think.
Yeah, because he's a real-life musician. Yeah.
And that's it. That's the end of the show.
And, I don't know, I thought this was great.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. And you know what? There was a conversation in one of the chats that I'm in about how someone said... I can't remember what it was. It's something about how there wasn't a big surprise in this. There
didn't need to be.
It's like what happened to having a good story with good characters? Like it doesn't. Not every episode has to be like, oh shit, it's motherfucking Mace Windu or whatever. Which was never going to happen, by the way.
This episode was just like a half-length action movie.
Yeah. and it's like it was well crafted action.
Yeah.
And it's look, there are pacing problems with this show, and I mentioned in a Facebook post earlier. I'm not really sure if I dislike it even, because it's kind of different
like,
from
the pacing problems are that we went and fucked off and
Yeah.
hung out with Luke for an episode.
right before the climax of
Yeah.
the conflict even. But like on the other hand, it's Luke motherfucking Skywalker.
Yeah.
And like
I mean, are you gonna say no to more Luke Skywalker?
yeah, so it's I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm willing to say that I didn't like Luke Skywalker in the show, despite loving like him a whole bunch. But at the same time, I think this is going to send a real clear message to Disney, which is you want to print fucking free money, put Luke Skywalker in a show. So if anything, hopefully that's because everyone freaked out about Luke being in that episode. So it's I'm glad he was there. It was a lot of fun to watch. It could have been fine without him because he really had no impact on the story really.
He was more or less a device to get Grogu back into Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah. So it's that was fine. I know that some people had problems with the mods.
I thought they were fine.
I thought they were fine too.
I thought they maybe stick out aesthetically a little bit because like they look
I think that's the
like
whole point.
Something out of an 80s cyberpunk thing.
Yeah.
Their scooters look like they're out of the 60s for some reason.
Yeah, they were. They're based on real things, by the way. Like go look at biker gangs in London from like the 50s. I think they were literally riding these really colorful things with like 12 mirrors on each side and shit. Yeah. It's like they're based on real things.
Okay.
That being said, I'm not offended by seeing shit like that on Tatooine because it's like out in the middle of nowhere and people do weird shit out in the middle of nowhere in space. Like it wasn't that bad. I think the only problem I had with them was that the chasing they had in the one episode was really bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, it didn't look very good.
It's
It's probably because they spent so much time and money on Luke
yeah.
that they're like, oh shit, we still have to animate a chase scene.
Disney, if you want to have more money and spend on special effects, just fucking recast Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Just go down the hall to Marvel and grab Sebastian Stan and
Get
say
your ass over
you're
here.
Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
now. It would be fine. I'd be happy with it.
I don't think they're going to.
As long as we're talking about special effects, the one issue I had with this episode was Cad Bane's mouth looked a little weird to me.
It was because the actor's wearing a prosthetic. Like his like those are prosthetic teeth. And if you've ever worn like those Halloween vampire teeth, it's very hard to talk around them.
Yeah. It was more that like he never really closed his mouth.
Yeah, because that actor was unable to because those prosthetics are so big.
Those were actual prosthetics and not computer graphics?
I don't think they were computer generated. I think except for his eyes, because his eyes were crazy detailed and the eyes had reflections in them. Like I looked really carefully today when I was watching it. You can see like the reflections of the people he's looking at. They're very detailed, but I think everything else is practical.
Well,
otherwise his lips would have closed better. I think
it still looked weird to me.
I agree. It was kind of cool they brought him back. And I was fine with them just fucking killing him too.
Yeah,
like
he had a good send off.
Yeah. So yeah, overall I know that look, you're gonna find people who want to bitch about every single thing in Star Wars, and I'm sure they'll find shit to bitch about, and I'm sure the whole crowd, the whole fucking where's Mace Windu thing.
He's dead.
Yeah, this is the problem too, is that like you go and watch these fucking Star Wars theory videos and these Mike Zero videos and all this bullshit where they
like fucking Sheev Palpatine is gonna appear in the next episode of whatever, and they're like, oh my god, I want to see
Hawkeye.
Palpatine.
He's gonna be in Hawkeye,
and then it doesn't happen. And you're like, what the fuck? Where was Palpatine? I thought he was supposed to be in this episode. And you were
don't
misled.
believe it. Yeah, don't believe it in the first place. Like use a little bit of critical thought. A really good example is someone brought up the idea of Han showing up in the finale. And it's like that's more plausible than Mace Windu since Han Solo's alive when this happens. However, what would be the purpose? Yeah, like what reason would he have to be there? Like, and if you can't think of a good reason why, maybe just don't do it. Yeah. So anyway, like
try to think like a writer when you're trying to anticipate what writers are going to do.
Yeah. So we are going to we've reached the end of our live show. Here in just a moment, we're going to be switching over to Battlefront 2. So we'll be talking more about it. We'll probably go through the news rundown at a little bit in between matches and stuff too, because there's actually some Star Wars news this week. So we hope you join us then. Make sure you like the stream.